So guys, today on Sports Central, we're going to be going over a college football game preview, and this one's going to be over the 2019 Quick Lane Bowl between Pittsburgh and Eastern Michigan. And in this one here, both teams are pretty evenly matched, so it's going to be a pretty decent matchup in my opinion. Previous game for both these teams, Pittsburgh lost to Boston College 19-26, then Eastern Michigan lost to Kent State 26-34. Some key stats from this one: Pickett was 30 for 40, 323 yards, one interception along with that. Meanwhile, for Glass, the third, Eastern Michigan's quarterback, 29 for 37, 386 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So those two games were certainly big games for both quarterbacks. Even though Pickett was not able to pick up any touchdowns, Glass was able to pick up 3 touchdowns, and he had 2 interceptions in the process. But overall, I mean, that's still a really, really good game by Glass the third. This game's going to be on Thursday, December 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in Detroit, Michigan. The spread currently says Pittsburgh by 11. I mean, clearly so, but I think Pittsburgh has a lot more talent. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But I think, the big factor in this game is going to come down to motivation. Spread currently says, Pitt by 11. ESPN FPI is saying Pitt 70%. Then Vegas is saying 32-23 Pitt as well. So all three sources are saying Pitt in this one. They're going with the ACC team. Here's our stat comparison for this one, and it's kind of interesting here. Pittsburgh actually they allow more points per game than how they get points per game. Like, they got 20.1 points per game right now. That is an average. Then they allow 21.8. So, Eastern Michigan has the same thing. They allow 30.3 points per game, but they get 29.1 per game as well. Back to Pitt. They've got 253 pass yards per game and then 120 rush yards. So they really rely on the passing game quite a bit. And then they allow 195 pass yards per game and 106 rush yards. Then looking at Eastern Michigan, 280 pass yards per game, 121 rush yards per game. So they are very, very similar. Eastern Michigan's a big passing team as well, 280 pass yards per game. As far as yards allowed, they allow 225 pass yards per game. That is a little bit high. And then they also allow 202 rush yards as well. So for Pitt, they are 7-5 coming into this one. Eastern Michigan is 6-6. And you could say that it is a little bit of an uneven matchup here. Of course, Pitt is 7-5 in a much better conference than Eastern Michigan is, and they still have one extra win. So it's a little interesting there. But once again, it's going to come down to motivation, and we'll get to more about that in a sec. Your previous 5 games, both these teams, Pittsburgh, they lost to Boston College. They got shut out by Virginia Tech on the road. But then again, Virginia Tech had a really good end to their season. They beat North Carolina on the road, 34-27. Pretty decent win there. That was in overtime. They beat Georgia Tech 20-10 and lost to Miami 12-16. For Eastern Michigan, they've got a much lower resume. They lost to Kent State once again. They beat Northern Illinois 45-17 and Akron as well. But then again, Northern Illinois and Akron are two very below over teams. Buffalo, they lost to 43-14. That's a really tough loss. And then they lost to Toledo in overtime 37-34. So really, both these teams have had very terrible Novembers, and they're 2-5 or 2-3 in their previous 5 games. Eastern Michigan will be more motivated in this game, no doubt. And it's kind of like the Louisiana Tech and Miami game as well. Miami is clearly the more talented team. That's Pittsburgh in this scenario. But in the end, Louisiana Tech or Eastern Michigan is going to be much more motivated in this game. And Eastern Michigan, I think, is going to put up a fight here. If Pittsburgh does not come to play, if they do not get up to a quick start, I think Eastern Michigan could easily pull the upset in this one. I would not be stunned to see Eastern Michigan win this. Pitt will need to have a quick start, no doubt about that. Pitt definitely has more talent than Eastern Michigan. Pittsburgh is a Power 5 conference team. But how would both teams win in the end? Once again, if Eastern Michigan hangs on to Pittsburgh for the majority of the game, no doubt that they can pull off the win. But my final prediction, I see this being more of a lower scoring one. Halftime score 10-7, Pittsburgh leads. Final score 24-17, Pitt wins by a touchdown. I think Pittsburgh, it's going to be a slow start for both these teams. I don't think we get to see any scoring until the second quarter. Then we get our 10-7. But I think in the end, Pittsburgh is going to be the more talented team. And if they can get motivated, if they can overcome their previous 2 losses and the 3 losses in the previous 5 games, I think they can win this. But then again, Eastern Michigan has no momentum whatsoever at all. Eastern Michigan has lost 3 of their last 5 as well. So you can make an argument that Eastern Michigan's not going to be motivated either. But then again, I mean, when you're a Group of 5 conference team playing a Power 5 conference team, you're always going to be motivated. But yeah, that's it for this prediction video. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comments below. Let me know your guys' score predictions as well. Stay tuned for more bowl previews coming up over the next couple days. Thank you guys all for watching once again, and I will see you all later.